Hello, I'm Louise Roe and this is the SheerLuxe Show. Today we're discussing key fashion trends for spring. We take a tour of a beautiful home. We have an inspiring interview to celebrate International Transgender Day. I am joined today by a fabulous group of women, author and chef Skye McAlpine, SL favourite and the wardrobe whisperer herself, Sarah Corbett-Winder, do you like that? And founder of womenswear brand Lisou, Rene MacDonald. Welcome, ladies.
Hello.
This is a nice sofa. We're like bringing spring, we're egging on spring, even though outside it's actually raining.
Yeah.
But I appreciate the effort with the spring wardrobes. How is everyone?
Gone full summer.
You are!
Skip the season.
Yeah.
I love it. Everyone good?
All good.
Very good.
Okay, we are going to kick off with the hostess with the mostess, Skye. You've got your new book out. Is it your second or third book?
Third book.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
You are absolutely incredible. I'm lucky enough to have been to dinner at your house a couple of times. And oh my gosh, it's an experience. And you're so relaxed as well. I think once you were like barefoot in a beautiful dress and you just produced about 27 roast chickens. The table is throughout your entire, you bring in extra tables, right? So it fits the entire house.
Yeah, so basically it's total chaos, but the kitchen, we kind of have quite a big dining table in the kitchen, and then we have a kitchen island on wheels that I usually persuade my husband. Is a source of greatest marital strife is this kitchen island, but on a good day persuade him to wheel it out onto we have this like little patio that backs onto the kitchen, and then I have like all these tressels so you can kind of extend the table and squeeze a clever.
It's
It's
so
really clever.
stunning.
Kitchen. It's really good because you can have like a proper party. It is like, you know, it is quite like it is a bit like the seating's quite random, and then I've got these kind of quite uncomfortable benches, and everyone is like sort
but
of
that's the
smushed up.
best,
like
because
that.
it's like, you light the candles, you always have perfect, I mean, with your line of ceramics and beautiful little bulb vases, but you are the most relaxed hostess I've ever seen. And this is I like to host, but I can't cook, so I'll do the table bit and the cocktails, and then
That's the good bit.
figure
That's the
something.
important bit.
What's your signature dish?
So at the moment, I'm completely obsessed with rhubarb and cheddar tart, and it's it's a recipe from my new book, and I just love it so much. And I think because rhubarb is really in season at the moment, I'm kind of really going heavy because I know I can't have it all year. But it's basically just ready rolled puff pastry with sort of sticks of kind of hot pink rhubarb and then lots of cheddar. And it sounds very strange, but it works really well because the rhubarb's quite sharp, and the cheddar and the pastry are quite rich because a lot of butter and kind of cream and
We
dairy.
like a lot of butter.
Not so good for a kind of anyone who's dairy free, but it's still really yummy, and so I love it. I'm just completely obsessed, and it's really easy because you can kind of like do quite a few, and it works for
chefs always
vegetarians.
say. Sorry. It's really quick. It's really easy.
It is really quick. You buy the like ready grated cheddar, and then you buy the ready rolled puff pastry. So really, all you're doing is just putting some sticks of rhubarb. You don't even have to do any chopping on top of the puff. You need the ready rolled puff pastry, and then sprinkle some cheddar on top, and then you can kind of put it in the oven. Or what I quite often do is I'll sort of put it in the oven, mostly bake it, take it out, leave it there even a day, and then like when I'm having friends over for dinner, pop it back in the oven for sort of 10-15 minutes so that you can kind of eat it all warm and kind of melty.
Is there a tip in the sense of prepping as much as you can
Definitely.
before?
I think like for me, when I have people over, I just try and do everything in advance, or almost as much as I can in advance.
You don't really slave it away.
And it's just like, because you want to be having fun with your friends, or I do anyway. And also, it's just like, if it's done in advance, then it's more like mental space. You're just not thinking about it, which is quite nice. Even if it's something really easy to do, it's just nice to not have to think about it. And then like, if you need to do something last minute, I feel like something like laying the table or tossing a salad or making a salad dressing, something like that, that's really kind of intuitive, where you can delegate to someone else.
And do you know, because I saw you after, I think, your second or third dinner party on consecutive nights. Most people would be wiped out for a week, like no plans. And I remember, I saw you on the tube and I was like, oh, you must be exhausted. And you went, no, I'm fine, actually. I've got another one tonight. How? You just like the Energizer Bunny, but I think you truly just love it, don't you?
I love it. I mean, it's like the greatest privilege is to like have friends over for dinner. It's like the best thing in the world. And I do, I keep it very, very simple. So I'll have...
It's not beautiful. I mean, it's simple. I know what you're saying, but it's still
Mega.
Yeah,
it's a lot of
really
work.
simple. But I think if you kind of know where to put the effort in, it's like it's not. I think it's the same as kind of dressing. Like you always look so glamorous, and you make it seem so effortless. And I think like when you just know a couple of little tricks and you have a couple of recipes up your sleeve, like roast chicken is such a good one because I think everyone likes roast chicken. It's really easy. I mean, you literally just take the chicken and put it in the oven.
Yeah.
I mean, you can add olive oil and butter and a bit of salt, which I like to do because I add butter to everything. But that's all you're doing in the salad. And that kind of is like such a lovely dinner.
Yes.
And then you could have like ice cream or something that you've bought from the shops for pudding.
Wholesome.
Wholesome,
and
cozy.
Yeah.
And I just think it like makes it feel really different from a restaurant, which I think is quite nice.
Yeah.
Like there's no point pretending that your home is a restaurant.
You're so right.
that's so
like
true.
embrace the hominess.
Yeah. Do you guys have signature dishes that you like to cook, serve?
I really agree with you, Skye. I hate it when you go around to someone's house for dinner and they just aren't there. And you're sort of,
You
even
might
though
as well
their
not be
food
there. And they're like
is
having a
beautiful.
nervous breakdown in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And you feel really guilty and you're like, I didn't want to bring this
No, you're right.
anxiety
And
into
there's
your
a
life. I
vibe.
just
And you
wanted to
don't
hang
even- There's a
out.
definite
But now I feel
vibe.
like you kind of hate me because I sort of like,
Totally, super stressed out.
no, you can't help. It's like, okay,
Yeah,
sorry.
that's the worst, because obviously no one wants you in the kitchen seeing what chaos there is.
So you just sit in the living room with a drink, feeling like really
Nervously.
guilty and quite
I feel like
awkward.
that's a bit of a 1980s vibe dinner party, or maybe that was just at home. My mum being like, "Stephen, can you get everyone got drinks, please?"
I have one that's like actually quite influenced by Ibiza, which is I quite like to do a baked or oven roasted whole fish.
Yes,
Yeah, and then you just do thinly sliced, like on a mandolin, potato underneath and various things. But it's really good because you can, like you say, you can prep the whole lot. It looks really fancy because
And
you
it's
so bring it
so
out and put it on the
delicious.
table and there's
Quite
you know,
impressive.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and everyone goes,
very
"Oh, you must have made so much effort," and I go, "Yeah, I know."
I caught it myself this morning
But
on the
literally,
boat.
it is just plonk it on top of the potato.
very
Like you can put olives in, whatever you want to throw in.
I also really think it's a massive misconception that you need to do something different the whole time. Like I think you need, you know, 2 or 3 for the sake of variety and for your own sanity, kind of dishes that you know really well like that. But I don't feel like this pressure where like every time you have a dinner party it needs to be a whole
Something,
new
yeah.
menu. It's just like making your life harder than it needs to be.
Yeah, you're right.
Do you know what I do? I write it down. I'm
do you?
really,
You've got like a
really
journal of your-
pathetic about it.
That's clever.
I mean, awful.
As in for
so,
planning or for memories?
Well, for
Both.
Basically,
You're not
if
same
someone
people.
says, "I hate mushrooms,"
You write it
I
down.
will remember that they, I mean, literally, and then they suddenly like mushrooms. I'm like, no, that's ruined it for
you
me.
can't.
I spent 2 years
You're
knowing
in the
you don't
book.
like a
You're
mushroom.
in the book
Yes,
of
you're in
not
the
liking
book.
mushrooms.
And the same
Not
with
allowed.
so that I don't cook the same thing for the same people.
So you are the organised person I
Yeah,
wish
I'm
I
quite
were.
organised. But I get that from my mum. My mum used to do that all the time. Yeah, and so I
Never
watched
think
her
to
doing
do that,
it.
but it's quite.
And then you kind of go back and go, oh no, those people already had
Wow.
the baked fish thing,
That's-
so I won't do that again. I'll switch
do
over.
chicken or-
But
yeah.
it doesn't necessarily mean you have lots of options.
Yeah,
All it means
it's
is you're switching around your easy
Do you do the
recipes.
same with Christmas presents?
No.
Because
rubbish
I
at
always
that.
want to be the person who does
my
like
mum
a
does
list.
that.
Like my
Rubbish
mum's
at
always
that.
telling me I need to do it.
And roughly how much you spend on them.
Yes,
Oh
it's
my
like
God,
meant to
I
be a whole.
love that.
Yeah, so you don't repeat. Which I thought she was mad, but then actually now that I get
Or
older,
with your godchildren, you're not
godchildren,
doing
like-
like
Yeah,
school
that's true.
teachers,
you get
and-
whinging between them.
Certainly
all.
regifting.
and
If it's wrong, then don't give it back
give
to
it to
them.
them.
Have you got a signature?
So mine's a bit cheaty, but I've got really into, like, I love entertaining, but as you know, we're all busy. So at the moment, we're really into getting takeout sushi and then adding like veg, big salads. And
Please,
it's
can I
love
come for
that.
supper?
and it's so lovely because it's
is
a
really
treat,
clever.
but you then get to add your bits, but you're not in the kitchen
Yeah.
all evening, and it's really fresh, and it's quite a kind of, so that's our sort of...
No, I'm with you because I can't cook.
Yeah,
Maybe
what
I should
do you
stop
I love
saying
that you can't. That you
I
say
don't-
you can't.
I
cook.
bet you
we
can,
had
or
people.
can you
No,
really
I really
not?
can't. We had people over about 10 days ago, and in the invitation it was like, "Don't worry, I'm not cooking." But I make a great Negroni. I will set the table
Wow.
beautifully,
You know.
and I think I'm good with the lighting and the music. So
Yeah,
all other
all the
elements.
key
And I just
things.
think get them as pissed as possible before they sit down.
This is true.
And then they're kind of like, "Oh, great." No, but this is so antithesis to Skye, who serves such beautiful food. But I
So get
do you know,
takeout.
I love a Mexican. I love
Yes.
Mexican food, and since we lived in LA, it's quite hard to Fine, so that is something my husband cooks really well.
Nice.
And I love. And you kind of, there are lots of different bowls. It's quite a family
Really
style.
And it's you all get to Is he a good cook?
But that's quite
he's
nice.
really good.
Okay, that's fine.
Thank
Fine.
The family style thing is really lovely because then everyone can have what they want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I always hate that thing where sort of someone feels forced to eat something.
Yeah.
Whereas this way I'm like,
I was chatting to someone about this and like plating at dinner parties, and I hate the plated food because I'm always the greedy person who wants more. But there must also be like the non-greedy people who are like, oh God, this is really awkward. I've got to eat all of this, and it's
a bit like
nice.
that.
And you get to use your beautiful big dishes or platters
And it
when
looks
you do family.
so nice
It's
when
pretty.
there's like
now there's a
tea and
70s
welcoming.
word.
Platter.
Platter.
Pineapple with cheese.
Yes.
On that
Got a
note,
meat platter.
now onto a bit of fashion. It really does feel that spring is almost in the air this week, and what better time for Charlotte and Emma to break down the trends, key pieces and style tips you need for the season ahead.
It might not totally feel like it just yet, but spring, I mean, it's officially here now.
First day of spring today.
First day of spring today, there we go. So we thought we'd do a little bit of a wardrobe update for you, kick off the new season with all the trends, all the products, and all the brands that you need to know about. So Emma, you've got a rail full of spring goodness.
I do indeed.
And we've got all the questions that everybody wanted to know about for the season. So let's get started. The first question is, well, we're going to combine the first two. What are the key spring summer trends and the top pieces for a British spring wardrobe?
Yeah.
Do you want to start with trends?
So I think with trends, that you've got to think of the ones that you can take from the catwalk and just make them really wearable. So one that I love is summer florals, and it's not groundbreaking. There's always summer florals, but I feel that this season they just feel a bit different. Like they're kind of a bit bolder. The colours are stronger. I love this dress from Doen. It's just so pretty.
There's been a lot of chat around how like the floral dress that we've seen around loads over the last few spring summers is dying this year. It was just a bit overkill, wasn't it? This is a kind of feels like a much more modern approach.
Shape. Yeah, it feels fresh. It feels new.
And so the prairie trend's still kind of wearable. This is still giving me prairie vibes. If you had that kind of dress in your wardrobe already,
I think so. Yeah.
love that.
New shapes.
Okay, so florals still here, but just different shapes, different prints. What else? What other trends to know?
So another super wearable one that I love is neutral tailoring.
Love this.
So this is H&M.
Is it?
Yeah.
I thought this was Reformation. Okay,
And
I love this.
This whole suit was, I think it was under 100 quid, like 90 quid, something like
Wow,
that.
that is amazing.
Super wearable again. You could wear it to work, you could wear it out for brunch. Just like so easy to wear. And you
So
can wear
easy.
it with trainers or heels.
Well, so what is your advice for making tailoring work? Kind of what is modern about this? Waistcoats are everywhere, aren't they?
Yeah, I think it's the touch of the waistcoat definitely helps. Also the silhouette of the trousers, like these are so loose and just cool and, a bit baggy, but not like too much. And if you don't want to do the waistcoat, you could just wear that with a white tee or a black tee or something like that.
Or you could ditch the blazer and just do those. I love that.
Exactly.
That's really cool.
That's really cool.
Okay.
So another trend I love for spring, and it might not be something that first comes to mind, is black. Head to toe black. I just think there's something really polished about wearing black in spring.
Totally. I mean, all year round, people always ask us how to wear it in spring, summer, but it's just about the fabrics, really, isn't it?
Yeah,
I
so
love
this
that dress.
is amazing.
Wow.
This is Ulla Johnson. One shoulder, big puffy sleeves, bit of ruching detail on the body.
That with a red lip.
Oh,
and some mega
amazing.
earrings.
Yeah.
Also some gold earrings or something. You could definitely wear that though with trainers and a
Yeah.
blazer or
Yeah,
something as well
100%.
if you wanted to.
Yeah. Then there's other key pieces to buy for, I guess, a British spring, really. So this amazing denim jumpsuit.
So denim jumpsuit is a key piece you'd recommend.
Well, just spring denim is just really strong at the moment. And I think, a jumpsuit is just it's just so easy to wear. And I love this one from Mother.
I love this one.
Really lovely, thick denim, and I love the wash.
I really like the wash. I love how the legs are slightly wide leg as well.
Yeah, that gives it a bit more of a modern feel.
Totally.
And you could roll up the bottoms, cuff the legs, wear it with heels for the evening, with big earrings. Or you could just wear it with like plain white trainers for running around in the daytime.
I also really like a jumpsuit layered. So if it is chilly, you could wear a polo neck underneath, you could wear something, a jacket over the top. It kind of does it all, doesn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
Love that. Okay, any other key pieces we should have having a wardrobe.
So there's another denim piece, but these skirts, like, I think already everyone in our office is wearing them.
I mean, if you haven't seen our TikTok, Maya, no one wears a denim skirt quite as well as Maya. That is the masterclass.
Yeah, really good. But they're just such a good everyday skirt, and actually with this bomber, I love that look.
Really cool. So because a denim skirt, I mean, it's quite structured. It's quite kind of, you know, it's a pencil skirt. So I love the idea of balancing it out with something a bit edgier and
it
cooler.
needs something a bit cooler to kind of, you know, give it that edge.
The bomber, I mean, this is actually yours, full disclaimer.
This is mine.
But how could we not talk about bombers in the context of this spring?
So this, I think I bought this last spring, and it's just such a great jacket.
Yeah.
It's just, I can wear it over dresses, jeans, jumpsuits, anything really. And it's, you know, it's warm enough to wear it this time of year, but you're not like, you know, sweltering in it.
Yeah.
And it's just a great shape, a great oversized look.
So yours is the Frankie shop. They do new iterations of this all the time.
Yeah.
What are your, you know, you obviously are really comfortable in kind of oversized, slightly more androgynous. For people who think, gosh, that's a little scary, how do you kind of tone down a really oversized
Well,
bomber?
I think you can still go for this silhouette, so you can still go for this kind of volume. But I think the high street have toned it down a little bit. So there was the Zara one that everybody went nuts for.
That texture's a bit safer, isn't it? Rather
Yes,
than a satin. Okay, next up, best modern trench. It is finally trench season.
Finally. We all love a good trench. And I think it's important just to get one that you can chuck on. It's the right length. This one from Ray is
good.
amazing.
Yeah.
Double-breasted, got the tie at the back.
And also, like, relatively not too oversized for Ray.
Not too oversized. Like, I like the kind of sloping shoulders on this one. And yeah, I just think that's like pretty much the perfect match.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think that's the perfect match.
And then this one is from ARKET, which is also amazing.
Yeah, that is
Love
a real
it.
goodie. It's a little shorter.
Little shorter, a little bit less oversized, a little bit more tailored. But you know, that works for some people. And I love the belt detail.
Obviously, these are both quite traditional. Over the last few years, we've seen lots of different trendy versions of trenches. Are we coming back to a slightly more traditional trench this year then?
I think there's a bit of both. Like you've got an amazing sleeper one.
I do, yes.
Which is, you know, covered
Floral,
in
yes.
flowers. There's a lot of navy ones, there's a lot of black ones. So it just depends on your wardrobe and what you like to wear. And
But you can stick to the trad.
you can
if that
stick.
works for you.
Oh yeah, there's so many traditional ones. So it's definitely
Love that.
still
God, I'm going to
around.
have to slip that Ray one on when we're done. Somebody asked about a high street brand getting it really right, and we thought we had to just chat about COS for a minute because they're just so. I mean, they're always so good, but they're getting it really right now, aren't they?
Yeah, I think. Well, I was going to say summer is a great season for them, but they also do really good winter collection. But I think in the summer they use a bit more colour. I think they have really nice fluid silhouettes, and I think it's just a bit more fun. So this season, there's a lot of there's amazing green in there. There's an amazing pink. So they've just really experimented with colour, but still keeping really great shape.
Well done, COS. Okay, spring workwear high street heroes. Oh my
Right.
gosh.
Well, I know that you are a big fan of these M&M
I am.
trousers.
I'm a big fan of everything. I'm wearing trousers and blazer by M&M. We should say they're about the length of you,
I know.
and they're also about the length of me. They do require a little bit of turning up, but
tailoring,
great
yeah.
if you're tall.
But
Because
how great is that colour?
yeah, really, really great.
So
and
good.
I know a lot of our lovely tall colleagues do struggle with finding trousers that are long enough. So actually, great that M&M are catering for everybody. I love that colour.
Love the colour. Love the not super high waist, but still high waist to kind of be smart enough for work. Really lovely wide leg, and they've got these little vents at the side, which I love. That would just looks really nice
Flares
over
up,
it. Yeah.
I love also just a bit of traditional spring colours.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
baby blue in spring. Perfect. How would you wear these?
I'd wear those with a white tee.
What you're
Yeah, I
wearing
know.
right now.
Actually,
It's
it goes really
perfect.
nice.
There you go. What else? What other high street workwear heroes
So
have you got?
then ARKET is just so good for these shirts.
Yes.
And I love
Oh,
a
I
striped
love
shirt.
this one.
Yeah.
Do you have this?
No, I
You've
have
got
a
a quite
very
one.
similar.
Yeah. ARKET, I can attest. I buy a lot of striped shirts
Yeah.
from ARKET. I think they're the best.
They're quite boy-friendly, but they're not crazy.
Yeah.
And I think that's why they're so good for work.
Yeah.
They're quite cool, but they're still, smart enough
Agreed.
to wear.
Equally, I love this. Has got a. I don't know what this is made of, but it's got a sort of silkier.
sheenier
It's a sheeny.
yeah.
You could actually do this with. I mean, you could do this with kind of denim on the weekend, joggers. I mean, you could kind of dress it down because it's got a slightly more loose fit. Couldn't you?
Definitely.
Great.
So yeah,
love that.
stripy
Yes,
shirts
if you don't
and
own an ARKET stripy
Yeah.
shirt, everybody should. And finally,
And then we've got this amazing pleated skirt from COS.
I love this.
Which is just, I feel so different. It's kind of, this longer pleated skirt.
This is what we were saying about COS. So structured, so appropriate for the season, but just so not what you think of when you think of spring dressing.
Yeah, totally. And, I'd wear that with like a grey sweatshirt and, maybe a blazer. But equally, if you work in a smarter office, you could wear that with, a fitted shirt or,
a skinny knit,
something more
like that.
tailored. Yeah.
It's just so lovely that midi skirts are everywhere, and this A-line shape is very flattering for a lot of women, isn't it? Okay, amazing. Now, designer names to know.
Well, the main one that I was thinking of is Kika Vargas.
Yes.
It's just such an amazing, really maximalist, amazing colours, like great for event season, great for going to a wedding. If you don't know them, they do just amazing dresses with big puffy sleeves and lots of frill detail. So yeah, I mean, if I have a wedding in July, I will definitely be grabbing one of those.
Like literally the most amazing. It's about as girly and kind of pommy as it gets, but they still feel really fashion forward.
Yeah. They feel very fashion forward.
Yeah. What other brands?
Alame, they do just really lovely. They're almost quite like Zimmerman-y, like esque, and they just do really nice separates. Lots of floral detail, lots of lace. It's quite feminine. But not too girly. It's still quite cool.
There's a few like shell prints and sort of like beachy scenes that I think are really cool.
Yeah, and they do quite a lot of matching sets, which I love. So wide leg trousers, with matching shirts, So
and you've also got Attico on the list.
Attico, I love. I mean, it's very out there, and it's not for everyone, but I just love their footwear and their sunglasses are amazing. Like
So
really
cool,
amazing.
isn't it? Yeah. Well, if I could be anything like those two ladies,
Yeah.
then that's great. I will buy everything they make. Okay, next up, spring tailoring ideas.
So I just had to highlight these.
Oh, those are.
I mean, that colour.
Sorry, that is just the best pink.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's so, I mean, I know it is very pink, but it's not too like bubblegummy.
No,
There's
it's
something
not.
like quite luxy about that
There's
pink.
something quite mature about
Yeah.
it. Yeah, and I love, I mean, that's what you can't tell because I'm sitting down, but that's the darting on these, the pleats, is just so perfect. I mean, they're kind of a chino, aren't they?
Yeah, they're kind of like a heavy cotton chino, but they're still quite structured. But I mean, I think if you're going for that colour on the bottom, quite similar to the M&M ones, then something super simple on top, like a white shirt or actually a grey sweatshirt.
Yeah, although I also really love pink on pink. Like I would maybe add some more pink to this.
Yeah,
'Cause
what would you add?
Yeah, I tuck in a pink t-shirt or something.
Yeah.
Or pinks, like if you've got a patterned pink silk shirt, something like that.
Yeah.
Just really embrace it because, I don't know, I love colour at this time of year.
Yeah,
So,
no, agreed.
yeah, God, they're good. Somebody has said how to wear shorts in a grown-up way. I love this question. Tell me, these shorts, so can I tell you, I saw these going on the rail before. There's a pair from, I want to say they're by Malene Berger on Net-a-Porter, and they look so like these, and I thought it was them, but no, these are Zara.
These are Zara, yeah. So these are mid-rise, like Bermuda, soft denim pair. So, I mean, they'll just be super versatile because you could wear those in the evening or you could wear them in the day, but they're just the perfect shape. I think getting a short right is about just, getting it just above the knee.
Yeah.
And then, styling them with a cool summer jacket or a blazer. But I just think this jacket is, it's just a bit more modern.
I so agree. I love the proportions of those together.
Yeah.
I love that you've got like the boxiness, the kind of A-line shorts.
Yeah.
Then you'll have the legs, and then you've got the boxy jacket.
Crop.
It all really works, doesn't it?
But also, I love a short like that with a really like killer heel.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Like,
So
again,
agree.
that makes it a bit more grown up and makes it a bit more elegant.
Yeah, so agree. Yeah, I think I would steer away from flats with a pair of shorts like
especially if you're not like 6 foot
short
like
flats.
yes.
Okay, excellent. Thank you so much, Emma.
Pleasure.
I love that. Everything that we have talked about will obviously be linked in the show notes below. Before we end, can I just ask you one thing you're going to be buying for spring?
I'm going to be buying probably another pyjama suit. I Actually, I bought one at the weekend, like a silky cream one from ARKET.
Nice.
And I've just seen so many amazing ones, so many great prints. So I think I'll get.
You are preaching to the choir. Yes, I agree. All right, lovely. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you soon.
Oh, I love that. It makes me so excited to think about getting dressed this season. Did you guys get excited for spring watching that? Any ideas?
My God,
Definitely.
absolutely. I saw the dungarees,
Yes.
but my thing that I'm really into, play suits, obviously. I suddenly kind of this morning was like, oh my God, I'm going to get wet legs. That's really not going to be cute, but I had to
But
just
maybe it's better
bring
your legs
my...
get wet than your trousers, so I think it's actually quite clever to arrange to wear.
You may not say that later when I'm moaning about how cold I am.
Well,
But
you could
also Macs, because I've always
Yeah.
had this thing with Macs where I kind of find them quite difficult. But
I always want to wear one, but I'm the same as you.
Yeah.
I can never quite.
Oh my God, really?
I
You're
always
like
think it doesn't
such a
suit
trench
me.
coat
It's
So weird.
person.
I'm wearing one today, but I very rarely. Everyone says this, but I very rarely actually wear one.
Interesting. I like a sleeveless one, which is a bit pointless but cute.
Decorative.
Decorative trench raining. Oh shit! I've got a plaid one, which is very nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
nice.
Yeah, you guys love a trench.
Well, we've got a new one coming out
Oh, have you?
fairly soon with a print on it.
Ooh.
So I cannot wait.
Is it secret or can
for
you tell us the
everybody.
print?
I can't. I couldn't possibly. But it's fab.
Okay.
Is it different print inside? What's going on in the lining?
No,
Secret.
I always kind of do a clash lining on the inside because I quite like that extra surprise when you take something off and it's like, woohoo,
Especially with trench.
yeah, why not?
What do you find is really popular around this time of year? What do you sell the most of?
Lots and lots of shirting because shirts tend to be trans-seasonal.
Yeah.
I love a good
And,
shirt. You like
yeah.
a shirt,
Yeah.
good, yeah.
And a nice kind of silk shirt. You can kind of dress up, dress down,
Yeah.
wear, if it is freezing cold, you can wear like a little, I wanted to say tank top.
Tank,
but
like a
not.
vesty thing.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly, vesty thing. Tank top just always sounds a bit tragic,
Yeah, what
doesn't
is-
it?
there
Like
is a
you're
better
locked
word
in
for
someone's
it.
basement. That's what I say to my children.
Tank top.
Knitted
Yeah,
tank.
I always say to them, I never want you to leave. I'm going to knit you tank tops and lock you in the basement.
I bet they've been staring for years.
They're just like, why the knitted tank top? I'm like, I don't know. I just have this image of a knitted tank top.
That's brilliant.
You guys got any faves? Shopping lists?
A shopping list. I mean, eternal shopping
Forever.
list. Yeah, forever. I actually am due. I think I'd like to buy another trench because I love a trench and I wear it every year. And
Yeah, you're very trench- yeah.
I kind of love a trench. And I have an old, actually, APC one that's really nice, but that is good at kind of reaching the end of its
They do last,
lifespan.
don't
Like,
they?
I mean,
They're
I've
so
had it like
timeless.
8,
Yeah.
10 years
Yeah.
and worn it very in
Got
the
one
rain.
for you
and
this year.
Oh, brilliant.
We'll figure it out.
I'm excited about the florals coming back in a more a sort of prettier way. I mean, I'm not a massive floral person, but I
love
feel
a floral.
and I feel like they're nice, with, mixing with a bit of denim. I think I'm excited for
Yeah.
that.
And stripes. I
Yeah,
want to wear a sort of pastel-y stripes or linen stripes.
I like stripes with stripes. and
Oh,
just-
you do?
Yeah.
God, I was talking to the preaching to
Stripes
the
on stripes
converted.
on
Your
stripes.
house is like,
Just stripes.
Stripes.
Do you want
Yeah.
to do chuck it on stripe?
yeah, and a bit of quilting. I just got a quilted denim jacket, which I love.
nice.
Can't remember where
Yeah,
it's
there's
from.
some lovely quilting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
into
really
that.
nice.
I'm quite into the long midi maxi denim skirt.
Yes,
as
yes.
Very
Very
chic.
Well. So dying to wear that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very chic.
And great because you can do it in the winter with boots,
Yes,
trainers in
totally.
the summer.
Very
agree.
trans-seasonal.
Just
Don't try and run in one.
yeah,
That's my worry. Is
go
it's a bit-
flying.
Yeah. Don't watch me
You've got to
walking.
nail that really quick. On that note, next up, we love taking a peek behind the curtains of someone's living space. So here's a look inside Sophia Fanciulli's cool modern home inspired by Soho Farmhouse.
Hi, I'm Sophia Fanciulli and this is my home tour. For this space, it was very much about the ceiling and the cladding in this room. Again, keeping the tones in here very neutral meant that your eye could still be drawn to what was, again, our main sort of idea for the space, which was accentuating the vaulted ceiling. So the inspiration behind the design of the extension that we added was we'd been to Soho Farmhouse and I fell in love with the design of the boathouse there, which was these 3 pitched barns. Again, the house is very much inspired by travels, by hotels that me and my husband have stayed in. So with this room, we added, again, as much glazing as we could. We took it right up to the apex of the room. And that's what I really enjoy about kind of keeping the interiors all very neutral, is that it wakes me up with a bit more brightness to my day.
Thanks, Sophia. Your home looks absolutely beautiful and a real labour of love. If you want to see the full version, please head to the SheerLuxe YouTube channel to see each room in detail and hear more about the process behind the project. Sarah and Skye, you guys have offered your homes up to the SL team. They're gorgeous. Rene, you're next.
I'm not really sure that anybody wants to see. Like, I wish I had one of those perfect kind of dreamy houses, but somehow never been able to get that together.
All right, we'll
at
wait.
all.
We can wait.
And also I have boys, so everything gets broken and trashed. I don't know, kind of, I feel like I spend my life buying glasses.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm constantly just like, oh, how come we've only got 2?
When we had 12.
Yeah, exactly.
Tell me what you guys are loving at the moment. Can be absolutely anything. Love your recommendations.
I've just discovered the interiors designer Harris Brown, who on Glassette, and he does these lovely like squiggle stripe pots, cups, mugs, bowls. Very cool. Obviously stripes and squiggles.
Love.
Yeah, very cool.
Harris Brown. Okay.
Harris Brown, yeah.
I've just discovered Ava Men's. So it's M-E-N-Z rather than men's, as in
okay.
men.
Yeah.
And she does stunning lighting and kind of, lots of kind of beautiful things, like they almost look like swans.
Amazing.
So everything's kind of cream and white, but she likes a bit of sparkle. So it's like sort of a gold tip beak. And anyone who knows me knows I like my sparkle.
Brilliant. Love that.
Well, I haven't just discovered, I'm just super late to the party, but I've just read A Little Life, which I'd kind of been gearing myself up for years to read.
Yeah.
And it's just the most incredible book I think I've ever read, and I'm completely obsessed. And now I kind of want to go and see the play and just sort of completely...
Immerse yourself in it,
yeah.
Amazing.
I tell you actually what else I'm really obsessed with. The Glory. Korean TV series.
really?
Edge of my seat the entire time, to the point that I was getting home and my husband would be like, should we have something? I was like, no, need to go and watch The Glory. Sorry.
I always think if you're thinking about the show in the day, what's going to, then that's a good sign.
That's a good sign.
You're really immersed.
I saved the last one as well for about a week. I couldn't watch the last one. I was like, no, I don't want it to end.
I did that with Call My Agent. Do you remember the original series of French? If anyone hasn't watched that yet, you are so lucky. Oh, it's brilliant.
What are you really into?
Succession, I'm really excited about.
Ooh,
Yes.
And I think that's about it. I haven't got any amazing... I'm going to go and look up Harris Brown.
Yeah, you'll like him. It's very cool.
Love that. Okay, I love this chat. Such good takeaways. Next up, earlier today, Charlotte sat down with Charley Dean Sayers, a model and artist, about her new book, 17th of November, which features a collection of photographs and diary entries recording her experience of sex reassignment surgery in Thailand in 2017, offering a ruthlessly honest story of transitioning at the age of 18.
In celebration of International Transgender Day on the 31st of March, we are joined today by Charley Dean Sayers to share her transitioning, her journey, your story. Hi Charley, it's so lovely to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
We should say we've got your book
Yes.
proudly on display here.
Both colours.
Both colours.
Pink and blue.
2 options available. Your book is called 17th of November. Why is that?
Well, it was the day that I received gender confirmation surgery. I am a trans model and artist, and I just felt like this innate desire to make a book about the process of gender confirmation, because I think it's something that just really isn't spoken about a lot.
I so agree. I feel like there's a lot of, and part of our, a big motivation to have you here is there's so much conversation in and around transitioning, particularly at the moment, but you don't often get to hear it from the horse's mouth, so to speak. So it's so great to talk to you about it. Can you just take us back to the very beginning, kind of what was life growing up? When did you realise you were a girl? Kind of how did that process work for you?
I had a relatively normal childhood. I grew up in a single parent household, so my mum really had no bounds for how I was able to express myself with makeup and clothes. And I think that just really helped me find my own identity. And, it was just this process of realising that something was different when people started to tell me that something was different. I never really saw myself as different until I realised that, boys would be standing on one side of the classroom and the girls on the other. And I had this really strong urge to be with the girls, but I didn't understand why I was, being pushed over to the boys' side. I would still stand with the girls anyway, but it was just, it was that process of realising when I was little, but my mum was so supportive that it was never any issue at all.
So you spent your teenage years kind of living as a girl and kind of dressing as such. What led to the ultimate decision to undergo the surgery?
A lot of it was, obviously gender dysphoria. Trans people will always feel this innate just this like disconnect with their body, which is absolutely what I felt. And I think being aware that I was trans from such a young age also meant that all of this was so much louder because, everybody's bodies are growing and changing. And I realized that mine was going in the wrong direction and it wasn't what I wanted to do. So I started on hormone blockers, which is something that's shrouded in so much controversy now as well. Because of, misconceptions and, there's a lack of research when it comes to hormone blockers. But, I think it's important that the recipient of those medications should, speak out and talk about their experiences on it.
How old were you when you started that?
I was 13 when I started blockers.
And that was a positive experience for you?
Absolutely. I think, especially within the NHS, like they are very precise in who they give this medication to, that I was talked through the side effects and what could happen to my body and how it was basically a pause button. That nothing about hormone blockers is permanent. It really is just deciding, I want to wait. I don't want to go through puberty right now. I want to decide later on which direction I want to go in, if I want to at all. So I was on hormone blockers from 13 to 16.
Blockers is almost then an unfortunate word. They should call it pauses or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, pausing medication. Yeah,
really
exactly.
So what happened so 18 is when you underwent the surgery. So what happened between 16 and 18?
So 16, I started on hormones, and then 18 was when I decided that, it really was time for me to take the next step in my transition. A lot of people feel comfortable in their bodies and, won't feel such urgency, or they'll feel, feelings to change something else quicker. But I think just for me personally, it was something I needed to get out of the way. I knew that I wanted to study at university, so I thought because the recovery process is so long for a surgery like this, that it I just felt that I needed to get it out the way. I just wanted it to be behind me.
Going back a step, because you mentioned the NHS, and I suppose this is probably quite an important thing to clarify as well, how much process there is before they allow you to begin this process. Like, how vigorous is that? What kind of procedures did you have to go through and kind of formalities to be allowed to kind of begin the journey?
Yeah, I was referred to Mermaids at first, which is a wonderful organisation that helps LGBTQ youths with therapy and gender affirming, not care, but to, placements. And I was referred to the Tavistock Centre, which has been in the media a lot recently, and it was a process of bone density scans, examinations, blood tests.
To determine what exactly?
So basically, the hormone blocker medication can, stunt your growth in other ways as well.
So it's
just
that
to
you're
monitor.
medically capable of taking
Exactly,
it.
yeah, exactly.
So then, 18, you decided to go and have the surgery. You did it in Thailand.
Yes.
Why is that?
Well, I wanted to have surgery in the UK on the NHS. That was, the long-term plan when I started at the Tavistock, but the waiting lists are ridiculously long, especially now. It was, bad back in 2017 when I was looking. It was at least 4 years, I think, waiting for surgery, but, it just keeps increasing.
Of course, yeah.
And now even to be referred to the adult services for gender care can be up to 7 years long.
Wow. And that's the bit beforehand. That's the
that's just to even be assessed to see if you're ready for surgery or anything. Yeah.
Talk us through a little bit the experience of the surgery. It's all documented in the book. That's the point. It's photographs that you took throughout. Also contributions from your mum who kept a diary throughout the process. What,
I'm sure it's impossible to summarise, but a quick overview of what that process is like.
Well, the book, obviously, it took me 5 years to make. I made it while I was at CSM. I studied fine art, and I just knew that making a book was the final project that I wanted to make. And I just compiled all of this imagery. You know, it had been a long time that I had been thinking about the project and what I wanted to put in it. And I think that hesitation and, you know, feeling responsible for the representation of gender confirmation procedures, especially as a young person, and being so privileged as I am as a trans person, I think it was really hard to make the book, but it's comprised of 35mm photography, selfies, collage, diary entries from my mum and I, and then at the beginning there's like an introspective and retrospective piece of writing that kind of explains in a lot of detail the process and, you know, the journey that I had to go through in order to receive surgery, in terms of money and accessibility and just everything, because I kind of did it all on my own as a 17-year-old. I felt, you know, my mum had helped me enough throughout the years that I needed to do this by myself. It felt like a very personal journey. So I wanted the book to have a very like a visceral sort of diary feeling. You know, I want you to open it and feel like you're in Thailand.
It does
with
feel
me.
like that. It does. It's like a scrapbook of your time.
Exactly.
How long did you spend in Thailand? How long was the whole process?
So I was in Thailand for 5 weeks, which was 1 week in the hospital, and then 4 extra weeks in a hotel, which was adjacent to the clinic where I would go for checkups. Yeah, it was just me and my mum the entire time. It was overwhelming, to say the least, because it felt so far from home. It was, you know, just going through this otherworldly experience with your body and then, you know, looking around and not being familiar with your surroundings as well was really overwhelming.
It's a lot,
But yeah, I just went to Thailand because I knew that the waiting lists in the UK just weren't something that would work for me.
Got it.
As a working class person, I didn't have enough money to afford it. So I had to go through, you know, different routes to earn the money. And I really worked hard to earn enough money to be able to make it happen.
What was the process like once you came home from Thailand? Is it like, okay, job done?
No.
Presumably there's quite a lot more to it.
Oh gosh, I wish. So really, surgery is pretty much a lifelong commitment to recovery.
Okay.
You never really finish recovering with gender confirmation.
Like medically?
Medically, no.
Really?
Yeah, it's the hardest part was when I came home. I think being in Thailand, it was, you know, I was in a lot of pain and mental turmoil, but I felt as though, you know, there were people there waiting on me hand and foot, and they were, you know, incredibly kind to me. But then once I came home, I felt really alone in the recovery, and it was just a lot of regret, which obviously has gone away now. But I think because I was so young and I didn't really know what it entailed, I felt as though I was not capable of seeing it through. But
how long did it take you to come out the other side of that?
I would say 2 years until I felt fully comfortable in my body and just, you know, where my mind was in alignment with everything and how I felt, you know, truly myself. And it was great to start wearing the clothes I finally wanted to wear and, you know, just feel myself flourish into a much more confident sense of myself.
Your mum was obviously an amazing support. Yes. That's really evident through the book. Yeah. You've mentioned her a few times. What you called her, you know, off camera, I think you called her the gold standard, or you know, a shining example of what all mothers to transgender children should be. What is it about? You know, what would your advice be to other parents whose children might be considering transitioning? What is it that your mum did so well?
It really is just about keeping an open ear, because she came out for me on my behalf. She did her own research into trans people, and she really listened to what I would say as a child. She noticed that I would only want to play with girls' things, and that my favourite colour was pink, and I loved sparkles, which is all very cliche things, which doesn't necessarily define you as a trans person whatsoever. But she would listen to me, and I would, make comments that would say, I wish I was a girl, and I wish I could, wear a dress to school like my friend does, and things like that. But she, she did so much research for my happiness.
And did it click into place at that point? Was it a eureka moment for you?
Yeah, it really was, and I think it just goes to show that, it's not that hard to be supportive of a trans child. I think it really is just about listening and, believing children. I think there's always this idea that trans kids, we don't give them enough authority. There's always that idea that it's a phase that they're going through, that it's just, clothes don't mean that you're a girl. Like, it's just,
I want to ask you, we were chatting before and I was saying to you, I was kind of, it's amazing, you've written this book, you've immortalised your story, but it must be quite challenging that this is kind of the big thing that you always have to talk about, and those, cis people don't have to be talking about their gender all day long. Yeah. So, is that a frustrating thing for you? Is that particularly with your work, you're a model, is that something that you almost want to, is it sort of like, I've written a book and I can close that chapter and I can move on? Or is it just such a big part of your identity that you want to keep telling your story?
Yeah, I think that's the idea I was playing with while I was making the book, because within modelling, I think a lot of the time, everyone dreams of being a model. They just want the glamour. They want, to dress up, to be a different character. And I think that's exactly why I went into modelling as well. But I can find myself a lot of the time being wrongfully labelled as an activist when my intentions weren't to be one, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I'm not complaining. It's just there are so many other trans voices who are constantly fighting for the right things and speaking about legislation. And I think a lot of the time within modelling, it can feel incredibly frivolous to just be walking down a runway, to be looking beautiful in a picture and then be labelled as an activist for doing so. I think, that's why I wanted to make the book. I thought, if I'm going to be labelled as an activist, no matter what I do, just being, exactly. I'm going to, make a book and present my truth. Well.
What's the most frustrating stereotype for you about trans people?
I think just that trans people are included into one huge group. There's no definitive trans experience. There is no way to look trans, to be trans, to experience your own gender identity. I think, at the end of the day, being trans is a very medical experience. It's a very medical life. It's, constantly seeing things that you would wish to change about yourself.
Finally, it's a two-pronged question. What is the thing you've learned, the thing you've been most surprised about by your journey, your biggest takeaway? And equally, what would your biggest piece of advice be to anyone considering transitioning?
The biggest takeaway from the project was just seeing people's responses to it. As I said earlier, I never went into the project with the intention of helping other people, however that sounds. It was more just for myself. It was a way to, it was to process the trauma, to make sure that I, didn't completely lose my mind along the process. I was taking pictures. If it made a nice picture, then it wasn't real trauma. That was just how I was framing it in my head. But seeing people's responses to it, seeing how people can relate to it, not necessarily even exclusively trans people. I've had cis people reach out to me and say that the relationship between my mother and I within a medical context, it resonates far beyond just a trans story, which I think is really powerful because the reason why it took so long to make the book as well was because I thought, how is this going to affect people? Am I going to regress people's idea of gender confirmation? But it's really lovely seeing people connect with it and treat it so tenderly.
Yes, I certainly do think it does that. And your biggest piece of advice?
My biggest piece of advice for any trans kids is be vigilant, be strong, know your truth, accept help where people offer it, and always love yourself.
Lovely. Good advice for everybody.
Thank you
so much, Charley.
Thank you.
Where can we buy the book?
On my website, charleydeansayers.uk. pink or blue, they're the same inside, but I just wanted to give people the option.
Thank you so much, Charlie. It was lovely talking to you.
How brave and how wonderful is her relationship with her mother. Thank you, Charlie, for being so honest and sharing your story. Thank you so much for joining us, Sarah, Skye, Rene, and of course Sophia, Charlie, Emma, Charlotte, and the rest of the SL team. Next week, Olivia Wayne is back with some more fashion with Lisa Pintode. We have another SL reader makeover, but this time it's hair. We've got top kitchen design tips from the best in the biz, plus lots more. In the meantime, we would love it if you guys could comment below, give us a thumbs up, and do subscribe if you haven't already. Have a lovely week.